After a very long drive from Moab, Utah, we have finally made it to the last stop on our runcation, which is the Great Salt Lake State Park and Marina. A lot of people end up going to Antelope Island when they want to see the Great Salt Lake. I wanted to actually come to the Marina. So here's a map to show kind of what it's all about. It's $5 per car, and they have two beaches, the visitor center, which we're about to hit up, and then some a trail and some camping, which is nice, and a little concession area. So the Great Salt Lake is 12% salinity, where the Dead Sea is 19% salinity, which makes it a very salty place. Now, we were supposed to take a pontoon boat out onto the lake today, but it was canceled because of wind. You can probably hear the wind kind of whipping, and the Great Salt Lake does not look calm today, like I've seen it in other videos and other things. It's very choppy. So we're not actually gonna swim in the Salt Lake today because of how windy and just there's the wind. But we are gonna go up to it, walk in it a little bit, but we're not gonna swim in it because it is very choppy, which you'll see in a little bit. But Run 50 States My Way, we are not gonna let an opportunity go wasted. Even though we couldn't take the pontoon boat out for the tour, we still came to the marina, we still came to the state park for our last stop on the Utah Runcation adventure. Nice small little visitor center that talks about all of the different steps. Oh, we were wondering what this was across the way. It's a smelter to remove the copper from other elements in the ore. So that's really cool. So there's actually mining that's going on right now at the Great Salt Lake, and that's what that is over there. It is the Brigham Canyon Mine, which is a 26 miles of operation. So you have the Brigham Canyon Mine, which is a copper mine. Originally last year, we were gonna stop there, but we took that off the agenda this year. So that's cool how the copper mine ends here at the Great Salt Lake with the mountains and the smelter. That's interesting. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, the Great Salt Lake. Wow, it's beautiful. The Great Salt Lake. Inside the visitor center, which we'll show you in a little bit, we actually popped in. They show a movie, have a couple little educational things, and then it's really more of a gift shop more than anything else. So it's very small. A lot of the educational things are actually out here. So right here, this talks about how the Great Salt Lake is the largest remnant of ancient Lake Bonneville left in the Great Basin and the largest lake west of the Mississippi River. It is one of the saltiest bodies of water on Earth and more than 4 to 8 times saltier than the ocean. So the lake is salty because there is no outlet. Water escapes only by evaporation, leaving natural salts and minerals behind. We are right here. This right here is Antelope Island. That's where a lot of people end up going to visit the Great Salt Lake. You can see how big it is. And then this right here would be the Bonneville Salt Flats. Boating is an exciting and fun way to experience the Great Salt Lake, just not today. The Great Salt Lake was first explored by native peoples. In 1825, James Clayman traveled the lake by boat. Today, sailing is a common activity on the lake, and it's an intense 80-mile sailing race that happens. Great Salt Lake offers waters that are unlike any you've experienced because of its shallow depth and high salinity. The lake can change from a smooth, reflective surface to churning, dense waves capable of reaching up to 10 feet in a matter of minutes. Again, hence why we are not getting in the lake today and why our boating adventure was actually canceled. So this tells us where everything is. So this over here, straight ahead, is Antelope Island. Again, a lot of great hiking. There's bison or buffalo that are on the island. So it should actually be called Bison Island or Buffalo Island. There are no real antelope there. But that's where a lot of people actually go to swim in the lake, Antelope Island. There's also a campground like there is here. It's 15 miles long, 4.5 miles wide. Antelope Island is the largest island in Great Salt Lake. And it is now home to many free-roaming animals, including a herd of more than 500 bison. So there we go, 500 bison. Let's see this one. Lake life. Again, there are no fish in the Great Salt Lake because it's too salty. In fact, the only organisms that can tolerate the high salt content are brine shrimp, brine flies, algae, and bacteria. Brine shrimp and brine flies keep the lake clean and clear by eating the algae that grows in the water. Brine shrimp, by the way, are sea monkeys. The Great Salt Lake is a major stopping area for millions of migratory birds. They gorge themselves on the abundance of brine shrimp and brine flies. Because so many nesting and breeding birds come through here, the Great Salt Lake is designated as part of the Western Hemisphere Shorebird Reserve Network. The lake is also listed as an important bird area through the BirdLife International. The historic Saltaire, which is there in the distance, it kind of looks like a castle. There were actually different ones. It was a resort at one point, and then it caught on fire. In the mid-1800s, people have enjoyed swimming in the lake. The high concentration of the salt allows people to float like a cork with little to no effort because of the buoyancy. To capitalize on this unique experience, Saltaire was built in 1893 and quickly became known as the spectacular recreational bathing resort. By the early 1920s, it was drawing nearly 500,000 visitors a year. The Saltaire burned down in 1925 and was rebuilt as Saltaire II in 1926, only to be plagued by economic downturns, wind, drought, fire, and flood over the next several decades. In the early 1980s, this Saltaire was built. Unfortunately, just a few months after its completion, the lake level rose and flooded the facility. In 1993, on its 100th anniversary, Saltaire again reopened, this time as a popular concert venue. So now people use it for concerts, and we actually saw the sign for that coming in. And again, more about the different bird life. So what's interesting, a lot of people talked about how the Salt Lake smells. And happily, it was 93 degrees in Moab this morning, and it's not even 70 degrees right now here at the Salt Lake. It was 69 when we got out of the car. Because of the wind and because of the lower temperatures, I think it's keeping the sulfury smell down, and I'm hoping that it also makes it to where the brine flies aren't swarming. So we're going to find out, because we are now heading down to the lake. So you can see all of the brine flies. They're not super duper swarmy, but they are definitely swarming. Going down here a little further. How about right here? And here we are at the Great Salt Lake. I don't know how I feel about sea monkeys getting on my feet. Orion is enjoying it. There he goes. And he's He's so gonna lose his flip-flops. But it's definitely like being at the ocean right now with how windy it is. Because, what? Okay, I don't want to go all the way in. I'm in far enough. Okay, we're in the water. Here's proof. Great Salt Lake. All right, Ryan got me in the water. You can see I'm in it. We've made it to the Great Salt Lake. I'm trying not to think about brine shrimp. But like I said, we're not actually going to swim because it is really choppy. Surprisingly, it's very warm. But we did it and we got in. Oops, sorry about that. Honestly, wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It's still kind of, you know, creepy thinking about brine shrimp. But that's just because I don't like things touching me and crawling on my feet. Which, you know, that's just how I am. But there are some people actually braving it and swimming in it. Again, I just think it's a little too windy and too choppy, as you can see with my hat blowing around. But it is absolutely beautiful here. And again, really nice. The brine flies are out, but they're not really bothersome. I think the seagulls are really helping to mitigate the brine flies, which is really nice. But yeah, we got in the Great Salt Lake, we did it, and I am really excited to check out the gift shop now. But we're gonna walk just a little bit more and really soak up this experience, which is, you know, one of those important once-in-a-lifetime things to do. When in Utah, you gotta come to the Great Salt Lake. So yay seagulls. Makes me think about Finding Dory, mine, or Finding Nemo, I should say, mine. They're gorging themselves on all of these nasty little dead brine shrimp that we're walking on. And again, that's actually a little bit grosser to me than being in the water. The beach is just flooded with like piles of brine flies and brine shrimp, and the birds are definitely enjoying it. Again, there's another view of the Great Saltaire, and you can kind of see off in the distance just how, like over there, it's really kicking up. But I must say, I am glad that it is windy because it makes for a beautiful, beautiful view of the water. Little tide pool. Ryan taking more pictures. Gorgeous. Happy husband. So this whole time I haven't smelled the sulfury mustard rotten egg smell. I just got it. And it's because we're walking a little further away up to this little salt mound. And this evaporated dry area, which is basically a salt flat, that's where the musty, literally it smells like rotten eggs smell is. It's definitely interesting. to say the least. Definitely interesting. But the further away you get from the water, actually, the less flies there are, which is nice. But you can see this is literally a salt mound deposit evaporating from the Great Salt Lake. They have a name for them. I just don't remember what they are. Maybe we'll go inside the visitor center and find out what it is. Wind has really kicked up. Last time in, you can just see how beautiful it really is. Ashley and Ryan at the Great Salt Lake. So inside the visitor center, you see a giant piece of salt. The Great Salt Lake is 75 miles long, 35 miles wide. Little brine shrimp, which is what I didn't want touching my feet in the water. Crazy, I know, I'm weird. I also struggle getting in the ocean, and when we went to Mill Creek, struggled there too, but I did it. So the land is constantly changing. This is Lake Bonneville. Explorers. Sea monkey kit, because again, sea monkeys are what brine shrimp are.
Or like the sides and stuff around. We're looking for like the desert.
Over on this side, they show a video.
Quite unique, as the high salt content tends to make people very buoyant.
And then on this side is the gift shop.
Oh.
Really cool. They have ornaments made out of salt, which are just really cool. Pieces of salt, saltwater taffy, bath products, shirts.
You don't have any showers, do you?
There is one outside and straight across the parking lot.
Okay.
I was going to ask the same question. How does one wash one's feet?
Yep, we got a foot wash.
Excellent. Thank you. That's so helpful. Caramels, fudge, geodes. These are onyx, the mystical birthstone for the month of December, which is actually kind of cool because that would be my birth month. That's cool. Different magnets and postcards. So nice little gift shop.
Thank you.
So after you get into the water at the Great Salt Lake State Park, they actually have a nice little shower to get the salt and the sand and any brine flies off of you, which was very nice. That's what I was looking for. So visitor center, the boats, the marina, the mountains. One final look of our time at the Great Salt Lake. Again, thanks for watching. This is Ashley and Ryan saying, sharing our adventures. Subscribe below, hit that bell, travel with us, run 50 states my way.